heart down. Oof.
Humans of the audience. It is here we are, the Loose Screws podcast, a day early and $1 short.
Short.
Told you, quit making fun of my height. It's not cool.
I know. My bad.
$1 short or $38 short?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, yikes. Okay. Jot that one down. This is going to be the 309th episode of the Loose Screws podcast, and it is the 5th of November in 2025.
3311.
What Roy said.
Yeah, that's right. And we are recording a day early because there was just this, oh my God, it happened. Frontier released their info, their devlog, and everybody went crazy and we just couldn't wait. And it was just raging all day long. So we were like, well, fuck it. Here we go. So what do I have? I don't have a squad update, and it hasn't even been a power play cycle since we last recorded, so I don't have a power play update. Is everybody feel okay?
Episode ever.
Best episode ever.
But who's here?
Okay. Yeah. But who's here? Thanks. Oblivious is here. Hi, Oblivious.
Is it true we have to pay to be on this podcast? How many?
You only have to pay for the first appearance. After that, you can just do your appearances as normal.
Pay to babble.
Okay. Yeah. Pay to pod.
Jiminy Tricks is also here. That's me. Okay. Roy Cookson is here.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. And Chig is here, and apparently he's in battle.
I'm in the middle of fighting a Medusa. It's down to its last heart, so I should be done shortly if the shield ever drops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spectacular. Yeah. Well, I mean, any reason we shouldn't just talk about the thing that we came here to freaking talk about?
Well, we can't talk about what we did last week. It's only been 6 days. So
that's
that
true.
Would be
I mean, has anything really happened?
Yeah, no.
I will say this. We've, myself and a few others, Chig, obviously, have been sort of getting prepped and retraining for having a Thargoid battle event on Friday. And the Loose Screws are out to the California Nebula where there is AX conflict zones to be had.
Yeehaw!
So join us on Friday. I think we are, somebody correct me, planning on flying the squadron carrier out here for anybody who needs a ride. It's kind of a hike.
I know, you're the boss. You're in control of that.
We can do that.
Well, maybe I'll survey and see if
do it.
Actually wants. I mean, several of us can do it. It's right. Well, if that happens, we'll try to wait till the last minute to move it so people can hop on board. So anyway, so that's I was fighting a Thargoid not too long ago. That's what I did. Anybody else do anything
we were doing
fun?
that. Was that last night or the night before?
It was last night.
I don't know my nights.
Yeah.
I finished the Halloween event with my second character. This is my curse now. I have to do everything twice. So
I don't
you brought that on yourself.
Yeah, I don't understand alts. I mean, I just can't envision myself doing that, I guess.
It's more of a main times 2, really, if I'm being honest. There's nothing alt about it. It's it totally backfired, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. Well,
that's
okay.
Good. I don't know. Anything else we should? I'm like barreling through here. Like, if you don't stop me, it's gonna happen.
Any funny in real life Halloween stories?
Just so you know.
In real life Halloween? No, nothing funny happened. The candy haul was immense. My daughter brought home a giant sack of candy. It's bad for me.
My wife went to Target and bought a bunch of candy. That's the way adults do it.
Yeah. We went to with my daughter's friend who brought her to a different neighborhood with their whole crew of kids. So we weren't here, so we didn't do anything here. And our new house is kind of like our driveway is like almost 200 feet long. It's kind of way off the road in this sort of backlot situation. So I kind of don't think we would have gotten much anyway. And our neighbors say that it's pretty thin. It's pretty thin in our current neighborhood. So I didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I went to a company Halloween event. I dressed up as Mark Scout from Severance. And
Gross.
Nice.
3 people
Mark
got
S.
it. 3 people.
I was going to say,
three
did they
people
get
got
it?
it. Here's the thing: 3 people got it, but they totally got it. Right? Like, they wanted to talk about all the episodes. Like, they were super into it, and then everybody else just didn't know what the hell it was. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good event. So
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
So you and the 3 other nerds had a good time at the party. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just like here.
Okay.
Me and the nerds having fun.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Cool. I'm drifting around the bamboo barge, which is the closest carrier to the high intensity conflict zone. I'm just giving a couple more seconds in case anybody else wants to talk before I just fucking launch into it.
Where you launch?
I've got this Deuce's shield down to 30%, and it's got 14% of its corpse left to blow up. So that's what I'm doing at the moment.
We're in the home stretch here. All right. So on Tuesday, we got the next distribution of communication from Frontier. So the developer log for 4th November 2025.
Wait,
and
it's not Frontier Unlocked anymore?
No, that's over. Don't you remember?
What?
Frontier Unlocked ended.
Okay.
Does that mean Dax no longer banded?
Well, he was only ever banned on Twitch, you recall.
Yeah, YouTube.
And these things don't even go on Twitch.
So I think we declare he's not banded. Yeah.
Looking jobs. Yeah.
Huh. Yes.
So we're all banded.
In
a way.
I think I preferred this way of handling things, like a scripted video, a scripted edited video. I think it came out right. It wasn't, people talked about the ums and ahs. You appreciate the live nature of something that's going to be live, but what we got last time was neither, right? It was neither polished nor truly live. So, there wasn't any interaction or anything like that. So I don't think there was any value in that. I think this is better. Am I the only one?
I 100% agree. It's more to the point. It's obviously very very scripted. Zach, a great guy. He's great off the cuff. Him reading that, you could tell it was something that was meant to be read rather than spoken out loud the way that he did it. And but it was good. Lots of info.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Focused, to the point, polished. It was good. Good. Thumbs up.
Deuce's dead, and now I just flew through the caustic cloud so that I can blow up so I can keep my premium ammo for Friday.
Awesome. Okay, fair enough. Well, okay. So video was good, but what was in it, everybody? Well, they yabbered on some statistics and talked about how great the type is and stuff like that. And but anyway, to the point, Trailblazers, they've decided, is good now, and it's coming out of beta with an update that'll be happening on the 11th. So less than a week from now.
Hey.
Yay!
Yay. Update that will contain significant fixes and quality of life updates to BGS, Power Play, and Colonization.
What the hell does that mean?
Hopefully, it means some good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff, sounds like.
Yeah. Also, way later in the video, they snuck in that it will also contain a balance pass for on-foot combat.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there was a reason for them spreading that out, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know what there is to say about that, but I'm hopeful. I like balance passes.
But I mean, balancing to what? I mean,
there's
to-
quality of life things that could be done,
Yeah.
but is there unbalanced things?
In
That-
the on-foot combat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Are we too
Okay,
powerful
well,
right
I
now,
mean-
or not
Well,
powerful enough?
Skipping
Okay.
ahead a
Oh,
little bit,
sorry.
right? They mentioned they mentioned that part. I probably should have just said it in order, I guess. I just thought it was interesting that they stuck that on the end, but probably they stuck it on the end because that's after they'd mentioned the new feature having to do with like on foot operations.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm thinking, a balance pass to on foot combat could mean a bunch of stuff. Yeah, maybe tweaking some things, but could be adding features
Okay,
that
let's go
become
out of order then.
necessary for this stuff. Yeah.
Let's cover operations first, because I think that
Okay.
might be the briefest conversation we have, right? Because of some of the other stuff is kind of
Yeah, and it's just
it could be a bit
tease.
longer, and it's just a tease. So maybe we'll cover that one first, since we kind of dove into it.
Okay. The facts pushed back into early 2026 so that they can make it get good. The new feature coming is operations, which is a new set of multi-phase scenarios, both on foot and in space, for 4 commanders to take on a challenging obstacle in never-before-seen areas such as the internals of a hostile megaship. There will be multiple operations, varying difficulty, and difficult to obtain rewards.
Was that your best Zach impersonation? Did you just read that word for word?
Just fucking read it word for word, baby.
God damn, that's the way to do it.
It seems like you're getting a very well understood mechanic within MMOs.
Which is,
Yeah, like
I mean,
Dungeons,
raids,
mini
right?
raids,
Yeah,
weeklies. Every MMO's had some version of this.
you think that it's that complex? I mean, it just sounds like it's
that's what I'm saying.
multi-step-
It's a straightforward thing. I'm just poking at it a bit. It's great. It's
Okay.
great, and they should have explained it as well. And I think it fits in with they've got a lot of new players in the game. I'm glad he explained it. I'm just saying, it's obviously one of my takes is this is obviously another checkbox on the how to become a grown-up MMO is that you put this thing in. It's a feature in other MMOs.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like ongoing, right? Like they'd have some, and then they would periodically kind of release new ones or something like that. And
yeah, that's the live service piece of it. And
yeah,
who knows? Maybe there's a battle pass coming.
Oh God! Shut your
But
hole,
how do
Mo.
you
thumbs down.
how do you envision them implementing it? What's the mechanic that makes it work?
I kind of would think that it's probably, well, okay, if I make it as familiar as possible, it would be a little bit like dropping into a conflict zone. There would be a signal source of some kind that would identify it, and when you dropped in, you'd get a message and start the thing. And the way they described, destroying some ships in space and then landing and continuing the rest of the operation on foot at a megaship or whatever. They could even involve non-combat stuff.
Well, see, I
And
found
did
the megaship side of it, that's kind of, bearing the lead a little bit. All of a sudden, we're going to be fighting on megaships, which
that sounds
don't
cool.
have gravity. So this is going to be our first mag boot experience with on-foot combat. Right?
Right.
That's true.
Or are they
Where
going
we
to
can all
forget that
run
they don't
still
have
for some
gravity?
reason.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I mean, if they
What are
added
the grenades going to do?
a 0G side of it, yeah, exactly. What are the grenades going to do in
I
0G?
thought gravity was the
bet
thing we all agreed, we're not going to talk about the gravity. Like, that's just a thing we just
Because it was
hand
too
wave
hard
away,
for their
right?
engine to do.
It makes my fucking head hurt when I'm on an
I hate
outpost
it.
with no gravity and people are sleeping on their chairs. Remember we talked about magnetic butt plugs so they can stay seated in zero gravity.
I think it's just
I hate
something
it.
they wish they'd never said was not there and just never even addressed it, and
Well,
people
if
wouldn't have even asked.
But if we can ignore relativity entirely with our travel in this game, they could have easily said that we invented,
Sure.
Yeah,
artificial
but that's
gravity.
not the
34th
lore
century,
of this
baby.
particular story. In this particular story, the lore was that there is not fake gravity. They wanted to be scientific about that part.
But they chose to add on-foot stuff to this game.
Yeah,
So they needed to invent.
and when they did that, they added jumping and like like grenade throwing mechanics that respond to the gravity level of the planet you're on, as does the SRV. This is all set in stone all the way back to Horizons. The SRV responds to different gravity levels and different surface, slipperiness. I don't know what a better word for that is.
Okay. So if they're reusing mechanics, does that mean
stuck.
that they're not gonna be able to jump in the megaship? Your jetpack's not going to be functional.
I mean, you just
hit the ceiling.
Right? That would be great.
Well,
you just ping pong down
but I'm
the
just
hallway.
thinking you can't jump. You can't jump when you're on a fleet carrier, right? I'm just thinking if they're reusing that asset
at any settlement inside,
at any settlement,
right?
you can't inside, right? You can't if it's in a space settlement. If you're on the ground, you can jump, obviously, but
but no, in a Coriolis where you've got artificial gravity, you can't jump either.
Still can't jump.
They just say you just can't jump if you're not.
It's like it's not allowed, just like the Pilots Federation saying you can't jump to that star.
I guess I was making a comment more on the mechanics of the game engine. Like we should expect that because they're going to reuse these other parts of the game engine, as if you were on a fleet carrier, you're not going to be able to jump in this. There's not going to be parkour in this sort of scenario.
Yeah, but I'm really curious on the grenade comment that somebody made too, because they are affected differently. Are they gonna they thought about that, or is that one guy they have to monitor what those idiots at Loose Screws are saying, listening to this right now? It's like, guys, we didn't think of something.
Crap.
It's like shit. Push it back even further. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna grenades going to straight, or it'll just be like jumping disallowed? Grenades are disallowed.
Yeah, no grenades because you're inside
they're
of
magnetic.
A ship.
They're magnetic. That's the answer. It's magnets.
They're magnetic sticky grenades.
But it's magnets.
It's a simple fix. They can do it with audio. Just any movement comes with the sound of detaching Velcro.
Oh my God. But I mean, even though getting back to what these, I think I interrupted Oblivious. He was going to make a comment on these before I went on the gravity tangent. But I could see it as an instance, like you're saying, we go to a conflict zone and stuff. But it also could just be, well, no, I guess that is, I took it as just more complex mission than they have now, where there's multiple stages.
And did they say, like, your war parties, how many would be in a war party? Did they put a number on it?
Up to 4 commanders.
They said 4 commanders.
So they're using
challenging obstacles.
Wing mechanic. Okay.
Yeah, the existing team. So I mean, the things that ended up, I hate being sour because I actually think this is probably pretty cool and it'll be fun. And I appreciate the attention to like this. This is probably a lot in the direction of the tying in of the whole game instead of having them be
sphere
separate
of combat
games.
thing.
Yeah. But when I hear it, I can't help myself. I feel a little sour about that. This basically confirms no, we are not even thinking about updating how wings work and the size of teams and stuff like that, which is still irritatingly small at 4. There's tons of stuff we do which is so much better. Like this Thargoid thing we're gonna do. We have to. The only place we can realistically do this is finding still existing AX conflict zones. Because if you try doing signal sources, you can't have more than 4 people without things just being really difficult and screwy, and that's not fun.
It may just be precluded. Like you can jury rig it so you can get more than 4 people obviously into a signal source, but the way this thing instances, you may not be able to get 4 people with another 4 people if it's a specific instance for that operations group or whatever they call it.
Well, just think back, like on the megaship fighting that's coming up. Just think about our escapades that we had on our own carrier. Where we all tried to instance on
go
it.
in an elevator and suddenly we split.
And I think there was and it was only 4 of us, right? In 3 of them were in one instance, one was the other. And then you enter an elevator and come out the other side, and now you're in the other guy's instance. So I mean, I'm hoping where I was going with this is I'm hoping that the introduction of this means they are working on some of the instances issues, or is there any changes to netcode? But I think that's just such a huge stretch. So
I agree.
I
see this more at people like, 4 missions, missions to me. They already have what are called like wing missions, squad team missions, whatever they are. You know, like the guard missions. Those are a lot of fun. They're supposed to be done as a group because they're pretty difficult. If you've got full G5 gear and you're good at a first-person shooter, you can handle those. Or going, you know, a high-level pirate mission. You know, those should, you know, they tell you should have teammates to do this, but all of us are able to do them because we've just played this game too long and we have no lives. But I'm sure these things are going to be the same kind of thing. It's not going to be, you know, you can probably do them solo, and that's how most people are probably going to end up doing them. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but I wasn't as excited as like even you guys seem to be about it. I've got to wait to see the proof is in the pudding.
I'm optimistic. I don't know if I'm that excited, but it's
the thing that jumped out at me was when Zach said there was, I think he inferred there was rare things or things you would encounter outside of these types of missions.
No, the rewards would be difficult to get.
Yeah, they're like valuable rewards. And he
so they
said
might get
that there's
meta
never
alloys.
before seen areas and
like mega
ships. That was an example, yeah.
Here's the thing, in other games, I haven't played WoW, I think some of you have, but in Destiny, when these things came along, mini raid, whatever, the impetus was there was unique things you could get from that event that you couldn't elsewhere. So that's why you would do it in the first place, was to get the thing. I guess it's similar to how we do CGs, where you can get the thing that's a unique double engineer.
Or Guardian blueprints and stuff like that. There's only ways to get those.
True.
You've got to do that scenario. It's not unheard of.
So that's now that rather than, it's just a pile of credits or it's a pile of, insert mats that are, pharmaceutical isolators or something. Hopefully it's something unique. I don't know that they're going to invent if they're reusing assets, I don't know that they're going to invent a new mechanic where there's actually something actually making like a CG reward, but I think that would come back to how do you make it replayable? If it's, how do you balance
the missions right now?
The other thing I was thinking, though, is the thing that happened in Destiny with these types of events is you wouldn't always get the thing. The little orbs would drop, and you had a chance of getting the thing. So that's why you would replay
they better not pull any of that shit.
Well, they're rare, right?
Was that intentional?
Yeah, that's where the
dice roll.
That's where the replayability came from. Like you could get an exotic, 1 in 100 times or something, depending on the type of event.
Yeah, but I said, before Odyssey launched, when we got our first look, I was, kind of half hopeful that, when you're killing people on a planet, you'd be able to loot them. It's like, hey, he had a better gun than I had. Oh, there's better armor and all of those kind of things. But this game has never been any kind of loot based. But it would be nice if they added that. Like you said, if this is adding that, MMO, basic MMO functionality that so many other games had, maybe they'll finally have a looting kind of thing, or where the rewards are something like a gun or even if it's
where that
cosmetics,
goes is unique variants of weapons or armor, basically, that you can only get from that.
The way that he worded it was, hard to get. It just sounded like it was going to be, things right now. You can finally get pharmaceutical isolators without finding the right system state and the high HGE. That's the way that I took it.
Or
but
some
again,
of those,
I don't speak FDev fluently. So
some of those on-foot data mats are still like the hardest things to get.
Yes.
The other thing that I couldn't help but feel was, this is another sort of confirmation that no, we are not doing the thing that I wish they would do, which is like mission editors that we could use. With all the I mean, this is clearly still more focus on bringing new players into the game, and the way the Squadrons update was. I think on the cake of all this, they want us to help onboard new players and take them under our wing and join them to the community and all this stuff. You can't go wrong with a mission editor system. Games that have them just don't die. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more I can emphasize it. So it would just be so great to open that up. And I don't know, a few years down the road or whatever, but
with this game is, we don't live in a static universe. Other MMOs, you can go kill the Lich King over and over again because you're just replaying the story. This is a constant, this is supposed to be a dynamic galaxy, so you can't repeat. So it has to be in the realm of current missions where you're killing this pirate this time, or this pirate this time, or this warlord. It's always got to be slightly. Names will change, but the activity will stay the same.
But the scenarios we're doing, I mean, the Lich King. Okay, it's not the Lich King, but if I go to a mega ship that's having combat scenarios, or repel pirates scenarios or whatever, it'll just loop.
Yeah.
So
and
that's interesting.
The power generators just respawn, and we go again.
I mean, where my mind went when Chig brought that up just now is mini bosses. How hard are these going to be? How challenging? Are they trying to make approaching end game content or even mid game content? Or are these just, well, it's a fun loop and you could bring 3 friends and you get
it's going to be a fun loop.
Semi-rare stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
They said very difficult.
We already have that.
Harder than Ultra.
BMI all over the place,
it exists. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not expecting anything too crazy. I bet it'll be hard.
I don't mean to sound like a downer. I'll quit. I've got plenty of downer to come up. So
they have an opportunity to raise the ceiling here and make it something that's actually more challenging, because it seems like the game is awash in simple and medium difficulty things.
I would be really surprised. I agree with you, and I would be really surprised, especially since the past few years. What have we had? We've had the Thargoid War, which made Thargoid combat easier as part of its process in various ways. But the way, just the way conflict zones happen, the way basically the spawn tables of what arrives in them, it's like super rare to see higher level interceptors. They just made it a little more approachable.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that was basically the hardest thing in the game, as far as PvE is concerned, got a little easier over the last few years. So I don't see that changing.
I mean, the way that's solved for in other games is, like, if I go back to Destiny, you could choose easier or harder versions of the weekly event, and the trade-off was you had to choose the hardest one to get a chance
to get the best
most
reward.
Exotic loot. So accommodated newer and more experienced players at the same time.
I think this is worded so that could be the case. Yeah, the way they said it, that could be what they're thinking.
There was an unintended consequence that came from it, though, where the events that had the most desired rewards, and because there was a randomness to it, and there was, in some cases, a lot of preparation and time to get through the event, people would start getting picky about who they brought and what kind of equipment they had. And like, you had to be prepped properly because they didn't want to waste their time, kind of thing.
Well, I rated WoW, and it was on a weekly tick, and the high-end guilds, they were hard requirements for people in order to go along. So yes, that makes sense.
Thumbs down to randomized rewards.
There's a balance. There's a way to do it that doesn't turn into that. I mean, Destiny had a spectrum of different events, and they weren't all, super try-hard, sweaty things. Some of them were, and some of them were much more approachable, even the ones that did have some randomized stuff. I don't know how that would work with engineering. I mean, they had a sort of a put the thing in the slot kind of thing on your guns, and you could start with one that had a certain role, a certain combination of starting stats, which did provide a kind of almost infinite playability to it, because people would have there wasn't one necessarily loadout that was the best, quote unquote. So people could tailor it to their build, and you might be going for a different loadout than me. So we weren't actually competing for the exact same thing, and it kept it fresh that way, instead of just having one unique singular thing that you wanted to get. Although that did exist in the higher levels as well. They had both. They had like I said, a whole spectrum of these things. So it's more nuanced than just don't do random, or people will start getting exclusionary about who's in the party. That's sort of the extreme case. There was some benefit, I think, in there was, I don't want to get too far into the Destiny lore, but there was a kind of a revolt where that was in Destiny 1, and when they started Destiny 2, they took that away, and then people got upset, and they brought it back, because that was a game loop that people really enjoyed. They would grind for a certain type of, what their god gun was, basically, even though...
But that's the problem here is I would love for something like that to be in this game, but if you start getting unique rewards that you can only get from that particular game loop and hoping for particular drops, people are going to lose their fucking shit.
I guess there's always chance for innovation, right? They don't just have to copy it. If they could maybe come up with a better way to do it.
I don't think it would be a good spot culturally to rubber stamp that into this culture.
Yeah. The aspect of it I would look for, which would be great, is have some, and this existing, you can pick, signal sources of different difficulty, but make the top ones actually super freaking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Is all I'd ask for.
And you look at the mission boards, it already kind of exists. I mean, just look at low, medium, and hard ground CZs right now. If you're not engineered and stuff, a high CZ is going to eat you alive.
Well, that's the key, right? I'm talking to the crew that's already engineered, so you have something that challenges them.
Right, and the threat nines are serious. Take them seriously,
And what Track said is that they've already shown a propensity to be shying away from having the highest end content. They want it accessible to everybody, and their biggest goal is to bring in new players. I don't think they, which is really dumb because
I like that they said varying difficulty, right? So what I didn't like was there were some subtle change. I mean, specifically, I'm talking about conflict zones, and this is like I've fought too many Thargoids level minutia, right? That most people don't know or care about at all. But like the difficulty of those is a little bit how many ships are in them at a time and how many Hydra turn up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But like there's actually not that big a difference between high, medium, and I don't think, are there low AXCZs? Anyway, there are high and I think there are like very high or something.
Yeah.
It's not, they don't change what would make it. It doesn't seem very well thought out, because like a high I think should be spawning very few Cyclops and much more harder types, right? That would make it way the fuck more difficult.
And more scouts, more chaos, everything.
Yeah, you go into a very high intensity AXCZ, and it's like there's a little bit more ships, but it doesn't seem to me that the ratio, and I've done a lot of checking on this, like the ratio of how often the interceptors that come in are lower versus higher variants doesn't appear to be different at all. I think like the spawn tables are the same. So that's like something that changed too, because it definitely used to spawn a lot more Medusas back during like Battle of 22-460 and stuff like that. There was all the time there was Medusas going around those mega ships.
Mm-hmm.
That was the peak, man. And the actual Thargoid War CZs were sort of boring by comparison. So anyway, but they have an opportunity here to not do that. I was just saying, I'm going to be surprised if they make it so hard that you really do have to take a group. Like, I know it's like suggested or whatever, but
yeah, people will figure out how to solo it pretty quick. And that could be part of the balance pass they're talking about right now, is that if people in full G5, the AI right now is fucking dumb as a box of rocks. When you do a ground CZ, gravity is 0.1, and they're still using the stairs to come off of buildings and jump onto rooftops. And so I mean, a lot of times here's a trick for people. If you're in a CZ and you see the squad drop and it's on a roof, find the staircase, because they're going to come down. It's basically a single file, and you can just kill them. It's
choke point.
They're really that is really bad. So if they improve the AI and stuff, these things could get pretty difficult. But I'll guarantee you, the highest end players, they'll be soloing these things.
Oh, sure.
Yep. But all right, that's that. So we covered that. What do we want to go to next?
Well, let's go to the Caspian Explorer. The new ship. The next new ship. Is this the last
next
new
generation?
Ship of the year?
Is it the next generation?
It's the next generation of new ships. This Star Trek looking motherfucker, is another Zorgon Peterson just absolutely owning the second generation ships market over there at Zorgon Peterson. I don't know how anybody else can manage to get some time in the spotlight here. I like Zorgon Peterson, so I don't mind. But anyway, all right, the facts. This is coming early access in December. I think they said early December. I just couldn't bring myself to write down early access in early December.
I know. I can tell you when it's gonna come out. The same week
Yeah?
the permit drops on that system that this thing has been going on for months
You
now.
think so?
Oh,
And
that's
then
going to
it'll
drag
it'll
out to
the-
December.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's gonna be the same week. I've got my theory, and I will
yeah.
quit the show if I'm not right.
If they
Again?
I mean, we've got this
Again.
update coming 11th of November. So yeah, I mean they don't have time for anything else. So it's like it's not the ship isn't coming on the 11th of November with this
True.
other quality of
Yep.
life update. So it has to be that it'll be the next update. Yeah, first half of December somewhere. Anyway, this is a large ship. It can load some of the Mark II modules, which is like the expanded cargo racks and fuel tanks. It will have access to a new Mark II FSD, which will have improved neutron supercharging of some kind. And we can see in the graphics that it has some tracking engine bits. It's supposed to have a nice small landing footprint. And then Zach said something about mind that gravity and spot interesting plating pattern on the hull. Okay, that's it.
Yep.
Open forum. What do you think?
You're going to have to buy two, you know. Just saying.
Why?
Because you have two commanders.
And they're both
Oh.
explorers. Like I'm screwed here. I
Oh
got to
my
have to buy
God.
two.
Oh my God. All right. I'll just go right into my theory on this thing. I like it. It looks cool. It looks like Star Trek. Did we need another exploring ship? No. I mean, the
That
Mandalay
answer
is
is always
like
yes.
a godsend. I don't know. I'm so
People want a large ship, though.
I
Some
know,
people, not
I know.
us, but
That's not us. Not everybody plays a different game.
Yeah.
But a couple things that I've got on this. We know that they're going to want to sell the shit out of this ship. So there's going to be an in-game event. I know Distant Worlds 3 is coming up. I don't even know when that launches, but I don't know if they're, they think that that's going to sell a bunch more of these. I think it's tied to the event in whatever HIP Eat My Balls 86/420. So I think two things he mentions. Remember, I gave my theory about how I think it's something with exobio that's been mentioned multiple times with the storyline, and
mind-blowing exobio.
So I'm mind-blowing. So I still think it's upper atmosphere and gas giants. The pulse scanner goes out.
You said
farther.
I still think, Chig. You said this to me personally not on a
No,
podcast.
I said this on the show a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
I did. I said this a few weeks ago. I said that
All right.
my theory on what's happening in that system is that, I tied together the extended range on the pulse from the plant gun and stuff, that they're going to add that to a ship. And your range C isn't very good inside clouds. Think about the
Right.
Stargoids when they came in, those clouds, that sucks. That's like this is why I haven't wanted gas giants, because flying through those clouds around the Stargoids sucked balls. Those mines were hard to see, and I hated everything about it. So I think that they're going to have us in the upper atmosphere of gas giants. We're going to be able to, plant gun from the ship on things floating within those gas giants. That whole pattern they saw is some kind of heat shield and stuff that protects you a little bit from that, or maybe it's from the high pressures within the upper atmosphere of those. And the mind your gravity comment is the fact that gas giants go from under a G to 8, 9, 10, 15 G's of gravity, and you're going to have to be mindful of which ones you go into and how deep you go into them. So that's my
you boost
theory.
the wrong way, you're never coming out.
And that's where I
stuck
think
in the peanut butter.
That's where I think this thing is going, and that's going to be the big mind-blowing exobio thing. But I think it's also going to spill into, this will be the only ship that you'll be able to exobio without going down on the surface. You'll be able to actually do other plant stuff flying above the surface. Also, I think it's going to tie into that. It's going to be a
I'd
ship
be here
that's
for all that.
annoy some people probably because why is this thing able to do everything and no other ship can? But it's it's going to be a new module that allows it to do that will eventually be able to go onto other ships. So that's my theory, and that will sell a freaking shitload of these things.
And that theory, I mean, that holds water because again, it's utilizing existing game assets and mechanics. So there's not a lot of new.
None of the how hard could it be?
Exactly.
Not a lot of novel code. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
I think I'd be down for all that. I'd be excited about gas giants. I think that sounds fun. He had this comment about like geysers and volcanoes. I think he's just talking about the landing gear, like being able to plot the landing gear now behind. That doesn't really mean anything to me. But I'm not taking big guesses.
In one,
yeah. Like I'm not taking big guesses necessarily on what all it comes with, but just like in general, like what is this ship like? I mean, it's an explorer. And just like I predicted with the Mandalay and it turned out to be true, the only way to make a ship a good explorer is to make it a fantastic, relatively lightweight, all-around multi-purpose ship.
Yep.
That is the stats that equals good explorer. So that's why the Mandalay kicks ass. And so I expect this to blow away every other large ship. As far as general like multi-purpose is concerned, and maybe be
and actually
the
be
large
able to
ship
turn
I don't.
Super Cruise.
Yeah, maybe be the large ship I don't mind flying, and that sounds great. Kind of regardless of the rest of this stuff, I expect it to be another stat monster like the Mandalay with some fragility compared to some other ships or something, to make up for it a little bit. But yeah,
I don't see it as a replacement for the Mandalay. I see it as a replacement for the Anaconda. The Mandalay
absolutely
jump farther, but the Anaconda can carry more stuff when you have let's say, a comfortable loadout for a long-term expedition. So that's what this is going to replace. And I agree with what Chig says. When the permit drops on Terry Torres' system, people are going to lose their shit when it's revealed the Caspian's the only ship it can interact with whatever the new feature is. That's what's going to happen.
Hopefully it's a module that some of the other ships can load or something, and they're just not as good at it. I don't know.
What would you guess for jump range?
I would guess that it is similar to Mandalay, but the neutron boost is what they mentioned. So this FSD can do super neutron scooping. I would expect a 50% increase on top of regular neutron boosting. So 600% instead of 400%.
So that
because
puts it past
50% seems to be.
Would that put it past fleet carrier?
Yes, it
or
would.
Put it just below?
Potentially.
Okay.
I mean, it puts it in the ballpark, right? A Mandalay, a jumping Mandalay with nothing else on it gets in the 80s. So that times 4, 320, add 50% onto that,
you'd be right up there in the 500s.
You're in the ballpark. It would be an interesting design decision whether it matters, whether it goes further than a fleet carrier or not.
I think it does.
Only on neutrons.
Yeah. You're utilizing neutrons. It's a single ship. Why couldn't it outjump a fleet carrier?
Just saying, you're going to strand a lot. You're going to strand some people doing that if you're exploring.
I'm fine.
Absolutely do it.
Voyager and jumping 70,000 legs in one jump. If you juice it up, but then you have to take one jump at a time back. But okay, jump range on it. For me, jump range is always like my most annoying thing in this game because everybody thinks an explorer has to have the most amazing jump range. And the only thing jump range helps is getting from point A to point B fast. It doesn't improve your exploring. It doesn't improve your odds of finding things, nothing like that. So if this thing has some crazy neutron boosting thing and it goes beyond a fleet carrier, I don't care what number they put on it, to tell you the truth.
There's an edge case. There's one edge case, and I've done, this was part of my exploration loop, is you go to the edge of the galaxy, or you go to the ceiling or the floor, and you try to jump out far than anyone's been to before. And fleet carriers kind of spoiled that fun. So that's why it would matter whether this can go further than a fleet carrier, because there are... I think there's places you can go that are further than a fleet carrier can go.
And so I like the idea of them doing that and then getting trapped.
Yeah.
Let's get our
shit trapped.
Let's get a new graveyard.
Be the Caspian Explorer. That's how you get home.
And I really wish, there you go. I wish that it was this ship didn't get neutron star boost, but got like a 10 times boost from white dwarfs instead
Oh,
to
yeah.
make
They
it a
flipped
real
it back the
challenge.
other way
bring
around.
that back.
They flipped
Yeah.
it back the other way around would be
Yeah.
so much cooler in my
That's
opinion.
how it was
'cause that's
supposed to be
actual
originally,
danger.
actually.
Exactly. But then
The white
somebody
dwarfs were
screwed up a
supposed to
decimal
be
point
better.
and they flipped
I
it.
think it was supposed to be 30 and 50 or something like that.
Yep.
And
Instead
it got
was
30 and
350.
300.
Yep. And then they kept the one at 300 and kept the
Yeah.
danger, the actual
Yeah.
dangerous one at 50.
Yeah.
It's so I wish that was a thing that they would do, add a little danger to it and make people learn that skill and try that one out. So
That'd be cool.
I mean, that jump range comment, that's one of the main reasons why good exploration ships are good all-rounder ships, because if you use them as a multi-purpose, you can load them up with all kinds of stuff and they're still going to clear 50, 60 light years easily. Just
My
on
ma-
everyday nonsense. So it's great.
Yeah, my Mandalay jumps over 80, and I've got an SRV bay. I've got a smaller shield on it. I've got everything for exploring. I went out for 2 months in that thing, and jumping 80 with everything I need for exploring without worrying about it at all. It's ridiculous.
Except for the edge case I mentioned, it's not for me about the jump range. It's going to be more about just the livability when you're out in the black. And Mandalay, hands down, with its Super Cruise handling, is that.
Yeah.
So unless if it handled the same as the Mandalay, had more jump range, well, that'd be a case, I guess. And it can carry more stuff like the Anaconda. Or if this new feature means, okay, now there's a bazillion more things to go look for in the galaxy, but you have to take this ship. Well, I guess I'm taking that ship.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it shouldn't handle as good as the Mandalay. It's larger.
Right.
Correct.
Right. It shouldn't, and that would be kind of a violation of how the game works and not just like a power creep kind of way. So, but it should be pretty good, or otherwise it won't be fun. So
Well, it should be better than the Anaconda.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
obviously.
Anaconda's garbage.
Obviously. Yeah, and so then it's just like, well, the Mandalay has enough room. Like, you can be comfortable forever. But, if you're the type to want to bring more, then this would end up being
scale.
better. Yeah. Right.
Can't pry him out of the Anaconda.
Gross. Docking computer.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I just love adding new ship.
we have to expect the higher ARCs price.
Yes.
It'll cost the same
for
as
the
the
larger
Panther
ship.
Clipper did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the precedent for large ships. So
Yeah.
still, more exciting ship from my perspective than the Panther Clipper was. Anyway,
Indeed.
I'm going to buy it on aesthetics alone. It just looks sexy. So.
it does. It looks
look very
rad.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at I mean, this is concept art, so I'm whatever. But the door on the rear of the bridge is like exactly one of the settlement doors.
Oh,
or
is
like
it?
one of the doors in the fleet carrier. So I'm like,
Interesting.
is this another ship interiors kind of thing? I'm kind of surprised I didn't hear any scuttlebutt in all the raving that was going on. I guess people are distracted by thing number 3.
Dude, I was when they were showing the ship and then they were showing the bridge and then they were going to announce the new feature. I thought for sure this was going to be the first ship with a full interior kind of thing. That's where I thought they were going to lead into it, because seeing that bridge and everything on there, and then the shape of this ship, and everybody knows Star Trek ships and their interiors and stuff. I thought they were just going to slide right into it. And I was going to be like, chef's kiss, guys, actually did it. But no, they instead went with operations.
Not today, Chig.
Do any of the pictures show from the inside looking forward, so you can see how big the view area is?
I don't think so.
It looks
but
pretty big from the outside.
From the outside looking in, it was like just a wide curved sheet of glass.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't like a huge bridge. It has the 3 seats in front that are pretty close together, and then 1 seat up over the shoulder. Not a ton of room. Compared to some of the other large ship bridges, but
and didn't
all
the
glass
doesn't the glass wrap below, so maybe
up and down,
you got some view from your feet shooting down. That'd be nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it felt
that's
very
another key
bubbly
concept.
on the front. Not a bubble, but like the whole front of that saucer was
It was
pretty
pulled in.
open looking.
Glass. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so thumbs up on that guy. All right, this brings us to the thing everybody was raging about. And the reason we're recording early, the real reason we're recording early, that can't wait. A new starport, and I guess apparently this is going to become available with this November 11th update. I didn't catch that until I rewatched everything just before going live, just before recording.
Right.
So this is the Dodec station, which is a model apparently that is from the old games, and it was teased as a bobblehead not too long ago. It is a station from the times of old. It is a tier 3 starport, or kind of a tier 3 plus, because it just has better colonization stats than anything else. It's the biggest, it's the best, it's the happiest, it has the most money, and it has the most technology. And
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine. And as a person who doesn't care about colonization, I will say that I assume that matters. It has a tech broker, which I know for a fact doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised at how much emphasis was placed on that. This is a real, that was a real, do they even play their own game moment? Because like a tech broker is not, it's not like turning in your combat bonds, man. This is not something we do all the time.
It make
like
better
we have
sense
600
as material broker.
We have 600 module storage. I am not visiting a tech broker on the weekly. This is a very silly thing to think is a big deal feature. Yeah, like exactly. Like slap a material trader. Like put all 3 types of material traders in this, and suddenly this will be worth something. But okay, continuing through the facts, this son of a bitch costs 50,000 arcs. You have to unlock it with arcs before you can build any of them. Unlocking it gives you a token so you can instantly deploy one, as long as your system and the slot in the system meets the requirements for doing so. And then you've also unlocked it to build additional models the old way, where you have to haul all the materials, which I assume will be vast, since this is the biggest and the best and has the most stats and is bigger than everything else. So this is the thing that made everybody go apeshit. And I will say, I do think it is a very small, maybe not acutely evil in this particular case, but a very small step in a very small additional step in the wrong direction that bears mentioning. All right, somebody else talk.
So I just, for one, want to thank FDev for really injecting some new life into the online discourse about this game in the last 24 hours. Like, holy cow.
For really pouring some hot sauce on that shit.
You know, I was thinking about that point, though, is like, have they shifted away from trying to keep everybody happy, and instead maybe just leaning into some more edgy decisions and going with it, and recognizing that some people are going to be disenfranchised and some people are going to frickin' love it. And if there's a correlation between the people that love it and people that pay for things, that starts to sound like a great business decision.
Yeah.
You know, all other the principle of the thing, categorical ethics about what they should do or shouldn't do within our beloved game, I think has to be put at the altar of this is a business. This is a business, and largely they're going to do what meets their shareholders' goals, while at the same time not trying to completely flip over the table of the game. But we can pontificate all day about what we think ought to be done in a game that we feel we have some ownership of because we played it for 12 years or whatever. But I'm bored, and they need to make money, and maybe they're trying to get more focused with things about this.
So was some of the arguments on that point that other games, did anybody reference other games that actually died
That's a great
deaths
question.
because they put too much behind paywalls, or did they
That's a
die
great question.
deaths
I don't know.
because kids were getting mom's credit cards to buy stuff behind paywalls? That's the one argument I haven't seen is someone come up with a solid game that had some great gameplay but was killed by paywalls.
Mm.
Well, that's the biggest argument that people have. It's the
Right.
competitive disadvantage. The credit cards,
Yeah.
and mom stuff, that's a whole moral argument and predatory practices.
Probably not
and
that
stuff.
relevant to this demographic either.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
No, my mom would complain if I used her credit card, but that's a different story. So anyway,
yeah. So I mean, I don't see that as the issue here, and I don't think anybody's really brought it up. But people usually bring up, I don't know, didn't Call of Duty do loot boxes at one point? And there's been, all kinds of random stuff like that from different games. For me, this doesn't fall into any of those categories. I've been waiting for somebody to tell me, because I don't know the rules of BGS or Power Play. What competitive advantage does this give? Go.
The only thing I came up with is, so thinking back to some of our early BGS wars, one of the tactics that was being used out there and could be used by a small group, four players, especially if they used a particular exploit, could go and target low population systems and flip several of them within a few days into conflict. So you being the holder of your particular bubble, if you will, you suddenly now have 3, 4, 5, 6 systems in a war state, and it now starts detracting from whatever else you were wanting to do because you're having to fight wars constantly. So the only thing I can see
the population's low.
Is low, right? So the only thing I thought where this would help, and is it says, okay, it's going to be a higher population state. How high? I don't know, but let's just assume it's significant, where it takes you from, on a low population state, you could flip it into conflict as quickly as depending upon how close it is, in a single tick, more on average 2 ticks. With a high population system, you're going to spend 5, 6, up to 8 ticks trying to trigger a war. So it would be
plenty of time to get spotted.
Get time to spot it. So it would be a defensive action. Go drop one of these in a low population system that you care about, to turn it into a high population system, so it's not constantly being drug into war. That's the only thing I could think of, and pretty minor.
And the rest is sort of just getting the stats
of BGS
on your system
today. Given the state that BGS is in today, it has no effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this thing is more a cosmetic than anything, in my opinion, isn't it? I mean, you get to add a trophy in a system you have.
That's the other question I had. They showed
doing this colonization business, for people who are into it and are constructing their economies and stuff, this is a very powerful piece on the board. But that seems to me to be a strictly non-competitive, like kind of a solo play kind of thing. So the advantage it's giving you is in the solo game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I have a Machiavellian scheme I could share with you about this.
Okay.
Should be the title of your next story. But.
Well, look, let me start by saying this discussion came up when the Panther Clipper came out, right? This goes back to, this is a business. Why are they charging so much? This is a business. And they're exploring the upper end of the price curve, and they haven't found the top. People are still buying the most expensive things, apparently in quantities large enough that they are
say keep going, right?
They raise
keep going because they're not so worried about the people complaining about this. Apparently, the people that are complaining, I don't know, maybe aren't a majority of this. So
shocking,
shocking.
That's right,
shocking.
Somebody's still spending money. That's a good business decision.
Yeah,
find out where the ceiling is.
Here's the evil Machiavellian colonization scheme that I think could take pay to win to its ultimate extreme. Here's how it works. Number one, claim a system. Then buy a Dodec station. Colonize it instantly. Buy an alt. Join them to your squadron. Make the claim on the next system with the alt. Buy the alt a Dodec. Colonize the next system instantly. Buy another alt. Buy another Dodec. Claim and colonize instantly. Repeat. Win.
So whose
Win
scheme
what?
is this? Is this
Win what?
FDev's
Yeah.
pocketbooks scheme?
I'm just saying this is how you could race across the galaxy in a week.
Yeah, but how
Okay.
does that hurt anybody? I mean, I
I'm not
don't.
saying it hurts anybody unless you
Oh,
have
right.
I guess, a categorical distaste to someone just throwing
someone else
tons of
having a
money
thing.
at this and racing, let's say, to a nebula that hasn't been colonized and get it for yourself.
Yes, you're going to spend how much? Go for it. I say,
That's right.
wow,
That's right.
fuck.
Oh, it might
Yeah.
cost you $1,000.
All right.
I would
Yeah.
wager that there are people playing this game who have spent that much in that other space game.
Oh, there's whales in everywhere, for sure.
Sure.
But
That's not a good business model because they're a small percentage. Yeah.
But this is literally a mechanic that could enable that.
It can enable it. It also gives you the opportunity to try to find that sweet spot, right?
don't you
What-
have
what-
to open up a certain size slot in order to drop one of these?
You could
You
pick
can't just
systems that
drop
can
it on a
hold
new
a tight. You
system.
can pick
Okay.
systems that could hold a tier 3 in the first spot. You'd have to be
Okay.
pretty picky about it, but you could spend some time exploring
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that's such a niche little thing with 399 billion star systems still out there. I
I could see
that's
people
insane.
getting butthurt if your goal is to capture something that's seen as a really desirable space to colonize. Like, let's say, look at where people have raced to.
Mhm.
The Pleiades, kicking off point for Distant Worlds 3, a variety of things towards Guardian space. There's all these places that have been discovered through exploration that are interesting or unique that people might decide, hey, I'd like to colonize that
so
whole
I see
thing.
your point. That
But
race.
I have to
yeah.
colonize 30 systems to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or more. And you could do
With-
this with money in an afternoon.
Yep. I can see that. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Mm.
That's
What if I want to get to
Um,
Sag A? What if I want to get to Beagle Point
or Colonia.
or
At
Colonia?
at
Take your
15,
pick.
okay, at 15 light years a jump,
Mm.
65,000 across the galaxy. How much is it going to cost you? Do the math. I dare
Assuming you don't hit a dead end halfway and have to go backtrack and branch
Actually,
off and
yeah.
find another spot.
you. You get out towards Beagle Point, there's no way you could do it.
Yeah, if you're going in toward the center, then obviously you're almost certainly going to be fine. You'd have to be pretty unlucky to hit a dead end, but
Once you get out
Sounds
towards
like a
the Beagle,
challenge.
there's a lot of areas where you don't have a system within,
What if it's
30
not one
light
person?
years.
What if it's a group of a dozen people and they decide they're all going to go in on this with money?
Yeah, but I'm just
Okay.
saying some of the places.
Okay.
Are,
this is okay. Back, all right, boys. Back to the task at hand here. This is the first time. So the relevant facts. This is the first time that they have put anything in the game that is locked to arcs that isn't temporary and isn't a cosmetic. But it's not something you can really compete with each other with, for the most part, barring these little weird sort of things that we talked about. It's not like a ship that you're fighting somebody in, and it's not something that you're using. It's not a tool you're using to complete a community goal or something like that. So you can't make I don't think you can make a valid argument that it's competitive advantage. But I mean, I just, strictly speaking, pay to win, for one thing, is an idiom. It doesn't require, for those making the argument, pay to win doesn't require a game that you can win.
exactly.
It just means there's something that you have to.
Yeah.
It's just something that you can only get by paying, and it isn't. It's not a story expansion or something like that. It's not a. I mean, they did cosmetics, they did the early access thing. The early access thing they hit some speed bumps in there when they early accessed a ship that had a competitive advantage in a CG, and that was a little rough. This is yet another step in that direction, and I think I feel right in saying it is definitely a pay to win, and it's definitely not the direction that I would like them to be taking the game. But even though it's a step in the wrong direction, it's a pretty inconsequential step. So it's like one of these, like, if we when do we speak up, and there's been some deriding of some of the player groups and louder voices in the community who have spoken up already and said this is wrong. We suggest we are going to be boycotting it. Do what you want with that information. That of course is the only thing that would change their minds, right? Is
Sure. Yeah.
if people actually don't buy it in significant numbers. If they do, plan for, expect this to happen again, just like the Panther Clipper.
Yeah, this is a lot of the discussion and the arguments. I don't disagree with anything you said. And just to answer your question, Chig, my evil Machiavellian scheme, it costs about $1 per light year, and that's when
$22,000, you say?
Well, what if you have a more modest goal, 1,000 light years, right?
Well, I was saying the Beagle Point example. And the Beagle Point, it's 15 light years per jump, right? You can do, and let's just say it's
15 light years per
60,000.
jump.
So 60,000 light years divided.
It's not easier than that.
50 times 38.
Chig, stop. It's 15 light years, but it's also $15 to buy the game. That's the math. It's $1 per light year. That's it. When the game's on sale, you can get Horizons and Odyssey.
I'm doing $38 for.
Oh yeah, you weren't counting the stations.
You're right.
$38.
So you're talking 152,000
times 38.
I came out at $152,000.
It's a lot.
To do that.
It was meant to be an extreme example, just to point out that.
Oh, I know.
Right. Here's the thing: all these discussions, they're all around slippery slope. That's the argument. I think Oblivious brought up a great point. Like, where's the game that we can all point to that this was an awesome game that died because of them getting too greedy? Maybe it exists.
Right. It's not a randomized loot box or something, and it's not something like the word predatory is getting thrown around. Can this be said to be predatory?
No.
You don't need it for anything.
If they could have gone predator, I just back all the way back to how this all started. They had a business plan. Their model was principally they're going to generate revenue and cash flow off of the game sale. And how do we get more game sales? Well, now let's go offer it up to the console community and get more game sales from that standpoint. Well, that failed miserably. And what happened? They restructured the company, management, all the way down to the number of employees and so forth, and still put revenue targets. We've got to do something to start generating some type of predictable cash flow from a company perspective. They could have, at that point, put new ships behind paywalls. You could never get them until they could have absolutely done it. Would that have been predatory, or there's that example of,
or is it a DLC
assigning malice to incompetence? Right? What I think I see them doing here is they're being cautious. They could have done a lot more sooner, assuming they had the code base ready to go after it, and I don't think they do. But they are being cautious. They're looking for that sweet spot that says, here's what the market will tolerate in order to achieve that cash flow. And the only way they're going to get there is put it out there, see how the community reacts to it. And the best measurement they've got is they're tracking the revenue on it. They'll see how much revenue comes out of this. And we sit there and say, this thing's always going to be $38. If they're not getting anything out of it, then suddenly it's going to be, well, you know what? It's now 27. And then we see what happens. So I
$38, it's $3.50 a light year.
Roy, I'm going to start.
15, Roy.
Roy, I'm kicking off your GoFundMe for your
Yes.
I'm taking off
Okay.
your GoFundMe for your Sagittarius A program. So
Yeah, great.
And honestly, I did it if the game was free to get all these alternate commanders, makes it at $152,000 to get out there. Yeah, add $1 per each copy of the game you need, and you're going to be another 4,000. So that's nominal. So 160,000.
Yeah, for 1,000
There you
light
go.
years, it's 67 jumps. It's about $2,500 in Dodecs, plus
Good
the
God.
1,000 for the alts.
Our new exchange
This
rate
is
is
such
Dodexes.
bullshit.
People are
okay.
going to figure this out. I'm telling you.
Now they didn't specify this, but there are cosmetics or stations which cost additional arcs.
it-
Now for 50,000 arcs, are they going to give you the cosmetics?
I bet they
Or are
don't.
you going to have to buy those separate? I bet they
It
don't.
comes with
too.
one or two, maybe.
Batteries
I don't
not
know.
included.
I mean, they showed
Yeah.
us some shiny ruby red things and stuff in the
Mhm.
video.
Mhm.
It
There's
kind of
got
would
to
be
be
silly
a
for them to
few
give them away,
options,
right?
There's going to be a couple options, and then a bunch of other options that go with it, as well as naming rights. Do you get to name it what you want initially, or is it
You
going to be
gotta
randomizer
buy
or
the
pay for the
naming.
name?
You got to pay for the name. I mean,
I think for
right? That's how it
50,000 arcs,
works.
you get the name. I think at that price, they got to let you name it. That's where I'm drawing the line.
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to be doing this, to put such a high price on it, and to have it be. If this was temporary, like the ships are,
Yeah.
obviously nobody would be saying anything. Like whatever. You don't have to have. You don't need me to tell you that. But to have it be permanent, my mind says, like, if it's going to be a permanent thing and not a early access, then the price should be a lot lower, right? It should be like, this is some little addition, little microtransaction DLC thing that you're adding to your game.
Maybe.
The business answer is the price should be whatever the market will bear.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
true. So they're throwing a
testing
guess out,
for it.
a calculated guess, and we're
Right.
about to, on the
And
11th,
don't
we're going to
forget, they're
find out.
pushing on nostalgia here, right? Don't
That's
lose
right,
that. And
yeah.
who is nostalgic about this thing, if anybody? People who played it in 1984 or sometime
Yeah.
past then, right? Who's
And
most
people who have
likely
to
to
have
have
some cash.
who can have the disposable income? Like there's a business ploy here. This is not dumb.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
mean,
I think to solve all of this,
well-
all that they need to do is double the weekly arcs you can earn, and add arcs, additional arcs for CQC each week. That way you can earn up to 1,200
Yeah.
arcs a week,
Yeah.
and it'll take you a year to buy this instead of under a year to buy it, rather than
I
right
think-
now 2.5 years.
those very pro-consumer moves that you have suggested will never be implemented, and you should please shut up now.
I think this is like a who moved my cheese kind of moment, right? The game is changing out from under
Clearly.
us.
Yeah, clearly.
It's like the gentrification
But, like, this is gonna
of
change
things
so
you can get
little.
in the game. It's
So little.
where's the
I-
low
I-
income housing going?
I
It's
see
gone.
two camps forming. Somebody's going to fly into a system, see one of these, and they're going to be like, "Oh, some fucker just pay to win." And then there's going to be other people who buy who think they're flexing. So it's going to kind of divide the community a little bit. For what? A month, and then everybody will forget about it, because nobody's talking about, the Panther Clipper was pay to win. Look at this stupid CG.
Yeah.
Now that it's a couple months in the past, nobody even thinks about it
Nobody
anymore.
even cares. That's right. Yeah, I'm saying, like, this is such an inconsequential thing to be doing it on. That's probably what makes it a good stress test. And I don't anxiously await the thing that's going to come that makes me really cringe some months from now, where I'm going to look back on myself saying, but this is such a small, inconsequential thing that I wish
Yeah.
I'd spoken up for. I personally, I don't like it. I don't like this being a permanent buy to unlock, and it's not cosmetic. I think that's going against the established culture. And I think it's significantly worse than the early access thing that we all weren't that thrilled with to begin with when it happened either. But
I
At
think
the same
the
time,
proof
it's just, not that bad. I don't know.
the proof is going to be what they use the money for. Like if this is just they get profit,
The rest of these
shareholders win,
features, yeah.
or what happens next year? What do we see for next year's features? What are they? I think we were
Yeah.
giving them a bit of a buy this year because they were digging themselves out of the grave the year before. Well,
And they hammered
I
it so
think-
hard
Early.
with the ships and stuff.
Yep.
like what's
Spectacularly.
coming next that's going to be wow. Like I don't mean World of Warcraft. I mean
So,
amazing.
yeah,
like blow our hair back.
So, and we've got the teases, we've got the ship teases, we got the feature teases. So on the 11th, we're getting this thing available for purchase, as well as a significant amount of bug fixes and quality of life updates to BGS, Power Play, Colonization, and an on-foot balance pass. So your move, Frontier.
That's a big list. And isn't it what we've been asking for? Like take a breath,
Yep.
fix some
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing. That was the thing. It was just days ago that some discussion in Discord was like, we're going to tease a new ship. We're going to tease a new ship tomorrow. And the discussion was, geez, new ship, take a break, fix some of these bugs.
Fix some
Well,
stuff.
Jello, I think, was spearheading that.
That's
yeah.
the first thing they mention, and people are like,
it's the first thing.
"Oh, God damn it! This pay to win bullshit."
Well, so yeah, I mean, we're really gonna find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If they put up a solid field goal or whatever, with this patch, if this has some fixes, if this makes people happy, there's a bunch of little bullshit that's been going on in this game for ages that I would love to see fixed. Some of it coming back around to my focus again as I get and fight a Thargoid again. Little nonsense things that have crept into the game over the last year or two.
But seeing
And-
ammo in the modules panel.
Yeah, the
damn it.
modules panel doesn't show my ammo, and so I don't know which heat sink launcher to synth.
Well, it doesn't
half the time.
always not show you the ammo. It's
Right.
kind of
Sometimes
hit
it
or
pops
miss.
up after you synth, and like other random stuff,
Yep. Or
just little bugs.
or all of a sudden it's showing me one of the things randomly and not the others. Like on my Goss one
Yeah.
time, it was showing me two of them and not the other two. And I'm like,
Right.
how does that even happen? So I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I got a question along those lines. Is fixing something in the game that used to work that doesn't work now and they fix it so it works again a fix or a quality of life improvement?
Ask Alec Turner. That's a bug fix.
That's that's where I would put it, and that's why
depending
I'm
on how
not
long you-
real optimistic about what a BGS quality of life improvement is.
Well, they said bug fixes and quality of life.
Did they
for-
say bug fixes?
Yes.
The quote is
okay.
a significant amount of bug fixes and quality of life updates to BGS, Power Play, and
A
Colonization, and then
significant
later.
amount. So they just can't
Yeah.
say the one conflict thing was the fix. Hopefully,
Right.
cross your fingers.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Well, here's
So
the problem.
we expect a significant amount.
In FDev speak, they were being redundant though by saying bug fixes and quality of life because they use those
Because they-
interchangeably.
That's the joke. That's the joke, right? They called it a what did they call it? A quality of life update patch coming
Yeah.
in, and it was full
Mhm.
of bug fixes.
Yep. So it improves our quality of life if those bugs are
Yeah.
fixed though. So I mean, honestly, they're
Bug
not
fixes
wrong.
are a subcategory of quality of life improvements, right?
I think
Oh,
I
it's a
just had a
subspecies.
small.
Or is quality of life improvements a subset of bug fixes? I don't know.
I
which
think
way
I've just
to
had
go.
a small
Chicken or egg?
epiphany here.
Okay.
The moral outrage around this. I think there's a lot of language that people are trying to find logical reasons for feelings, and I think some of it is all through last year and part of this year. I think there's this been sentiment of I'm going to buy stuff because poor FDev, the game was almost dead.
Yeah.
They need the
Yeah,
money.
right.
And don't be so hard on them, man. Those devs are working so hard and they had bad management. Like, we know that whole story. I think that charging $38 for a pay-only station changes that dynamic. It's sort of, now the gloves
Now
come
they
off. It's
feel
sort of
rich.
like, Well, I think now it's people feel like they've been donating to a nonprofit or something, and now suddenly the long knives come out, and maybe that's going to shift it from, I just buy stuff, I buy ARCs all the time. I'm just talking generic, like there are people that buy things because they just want to support FDev and keep the beloved game going. Well, it kind of feels like we've crossed the Rubicon here, where now it's like, oh, you want to charge $38 for a station? What have you done for me lately? I feel like we're going into a new land.
It's the same
here
update,
Suddenly, FDevs are the 1%.
What have you done for me lately? Like, how many of these stations, Jiminy, would you buy if the promise was VR and on foot gameplay is going to get done?
Well, that's okay. Well,
how many Dodecs?
That's a thing
how many Dodecs would that be?
You're taking me back to Odyssey will not have VR support at launch.
I know.
We're already paying back an old debt there. I don't think I have to buy anything for them to
okay,
finally
so you
put
found
that
a different
in.
moral
That's my
outrage.
opinion.
How about shipping?
You
what if this
brought it
paid?
up.
What if this paid for ship interiors and full atmospheric planets?
Big features like that are fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm
just saying this is the new calculus, right? If they're going to charge this kind of money, then maybe we should start expecting some, giant features.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's why I'm saying like this significant amount of fixes, like you better fucking put up, guys, or you're gonna hear about it. I think, I mean, if you're saying specifically, I think you're being sort of
I know,
allegorical or something, but like it's I probably wouldn't buy this because I'm not going out and colonizing things. So where the fuck would I put it, right? But I could buy myself a stack of ARCs and like there's, and spend them on things down the line. Like I can buy ARCs right now, even if there's not a thing for me to spend them on right now. And it sends a little bit of a message. I think it sends a more focused message if you specifically buy when you buy the Panther Clipper because you've been waiting 15 years for the Panther Clipper Mark II. It sends the message you're expecting it to send and you're meaning for it to send, right? But if it.
Yeah, I think what we do, if we play out this analogy just a little bit, is, FDev, people are, feeling altruistic or whatever and paying FDev. It was like that guy washing your windshield with newspaper and he'll take $1 and feel good about it, right? And the next, a year later, the guy's still doing that, but now he's got a beautiful squeegee, he's dressed in nice clothes, and he's expecting $30 for it.
$38.
$38 for
it.
Now,
before he starts.
Now that's where the turning point is, though. Is that windshield clean that much better? And what next?
Yeah.
Is it a full car wash at that same $38? Is it going to continue going forward and that kind of levels off the price and you're getting a lot more good stuff from that person who helped drag themselves off the ground? Poor FDev. Oh my God, my shares. I think that's where we got to wait and see on this a little bit to see where it goes, because it could go, this is the testing ground to see, pay to win. They don't care. We're going to hit them harder. Or this is where this is kind of where the line is. And let's just give them more shiny stuff, but let's keep the price around this area. Yeah, we got to wait and see what happens. Right?
Yeah. Yep. And decide what message you personally want to send and see how it all stacks up. When everybody in the community buys or doesn't buy this thing, we're gonna friggin' find out if they do this again.
At this point, I want to put 66 of them.
Yeah, I want to see right now. I want to see them put out the Python Mark III, which is a large ship that moves as fast as the Cobra, only available for 100,000 ARCs. And I want that just to watch Reddit explode. I mean, players lose. It'd be worth it to me. If I get pulled by one of those, I'll run away. I don't care. It's not going to affect my game at all. So I just, at this point, the outrage has just been, I found it kind of funny for something as minimal as this is.
Well, I think that's what I was getting at, is it's touching on some moral outrage that isn't really about a station with a tech broker.
Yeah.
It's
they're projecting.
I felt like I was doing
Mhm.
something good to support this company, and now it's like they've kind of, it feels like a little bit of a betrayal, kind of, maybe.
I think it does feel. I think that's right. I think it does feel like that a little bit. I mean, I don't think that's completely unjustified because
Oh, I agree. It should have been something
changes
useful. I'd have paid for it then.
useful, or I mean, God,
Is
I
it-
mean,
is
just
it-
if
is
you
it,
move
Everybody's
it in
gonna be
any
so mad at
direction,
me.
if you
is
move
is it a betrayal, or is it now it's okay, FDeb, it's time you got to move out of the basement and stand on your own 2 feet type of thing? Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Now we
no,
treat you
that's
like
right.
any other.
That's what they're
it's
doing.
bending or
small,
breaking the
company.
established rules, right? We have
Yeah.
like these cultural rules have been established for what the transactions are. What are the additional transactions in this game? There are cosmetics. Awesome. End of line. And then, oh, well, but now they're going to be early access to these ships. Okay. All right. Some people are kind of mad about it, but like whatever. And we're pumping money into the game and the revenue goes up 175% year over year. And now we have a game for the next few years. And now the rules are changing again. So yeah, I don't know, it's notable.
And eventually, if you're not onboarding new players, that's where they've been talking about getting this new player experience better and stuff. If you're not onboarding new players, you're not selling copies of the game. So this is the only revenue stream you have.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to be the people that, the game's 10 years old. Eventually it's only going to be the people that are willing to buy, willing to pay to win and don't give a fuck. So eventually isn't it eventually just ending up at that at some point anyway? It almost has to.
Yeah, it's pay to keep playing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not pay to win. It's
Right.
pay to just keep playing.
Yeah, it's
My game alive.
It's a pseudo subscription.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more. Maybe more.
Yeah.
I mean, I shudder to average out my ARC's purchase it, like maybe more.
Yeah, I've
That's
spent
all
a
I'm saying.
lot.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, though, that's almost a better business model, though, because it incentivizes them to put out things that people really want.
Right.
Instead of
Yeah.
just collecting the subscription, doing a few updates. This is the better they do, the more money they'll get.
Well,
Much
it
That's
also,
true. I
like
would be
Jimmy
way
was
more
saying,
outraged by a subscription.
Well,
Yep.
it gives you the like you were saying, it gives you the signal of what people are spending their money on, so you can direct it better.
Mhm.
Yeah, instead of guessing and they're checking Reddit to see what people are complaining about and choosing the direction that way. They have genuine, they've got player numbers, they've got, revenue coming in. They know exactly how many of each of these ships have sold, the CGs they've done, how many people have participated. They've got a pretty good idea. I always talk about their incompetence and stuff, and I love this game in spite of them, but they are still a multi-million-dollar corporation that is, they've got people who are using analytics and studying this stuff. I'm sure they're, putting it in Chat GPT and asking it for advice on what they should do. But
Hey, they don't want their kids to go hungry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go hungry tonight.
So, but yeah,
Cool.
I think we have some people in the Discord with some pretty strong feelings, and some have compared it to like, what if they put out a combat ship, like I was joking to piss off Reddit. Yeah, that would be a different story, but that's comparing apples to oranges. I mean,
Cobra Mark IV.
Well, that was
That's not remotely the same
exactly
argument or discussion, like under any circumstances.
Yeah,
like the idea that that's outrageous to somebody is so funny.
Well, it helps that the ship's not that great, No one's
Yeah,
that
it
proud.
helps.
It's
But
bad.
like, even if you ignore that, it's like it's so fucking clear from day. Like, here's what we do, and then they just never go back on what they said, and people become mad over time about them not having lied.
Yeah.
That is
Exactly.
so funny. If you are mad about the Cobra Mark IV never being available to you because you didn't do the thing you had to do at the time you had to do it, you are hilarious.
And petty. And need a life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying.
It's very bad.
Time to move out of the basement.
Yeah.
But I mean, comparing that, it's different. Like, I hate to say it, even like if there was another exploration ship that didn't have new functionality, this ship's going to have new functionality. But let's say they came out with yet another exploration ship, and to me, that's not a competitive endeavor, and it was behind a paywall. I wouldn't have any problem with that. But that's where I stand on it. So
Some
my
people do
line
find
is,
that competitive
how so?
to claiming systems and stuff. Like,
Yeah, but
and-
how would
and in
how
fact,
would a new exploration
will
ship
be.
help you discover more?
Because especially this neutron jump thing, like we were saying,
But that's
like,
what I
you
said.
will be
not
able to
with
get to
new
systems.
functionality. I said not with. If they put out a new exploration ship without additional functionality, let's say they put a Mandalay Mark II that jumped 2 light years farther, turned Super Cruise a little bit better, was just slightly better on a number of things, but really would not help you discover systems any faster. Just maybe the experience would be different.
Quality of
That's
life.
where I
yeah.
say it doesn't matter compared to a combat situation.
I'm saying buckle up, because what's already been announced about this new Caspian
Mhm.
is, to a small subset of people, is a competitive advantage, and it is pay to win like crazy for these particular people who have like never been serviced before in the whole extent of this game. They just got a thing that they're going to have to pay the big ARX bucks for the large ship for, so that they can get out and find those stars that were previously unreachable and put their names on them, because that's the important thing to them.
Yeah, or in the
but
short term,
that's-
the CG element that's maximized because you've got the pay-to-win chip.
But that's
Yeah.
the neutron capability is what the pay to win is, not the ship. Is
Well,
what
there's
I'm
that.
saying.
I don't know. There's the hexagon
But it's the
tile
same.
thing.
If
We
it's
don't know what that's going to
if
be.
it's the ship, if this is the only ship that loads that Mark II module.
And that's exactly what I said, though. I was telling you where I drew the line is if there was a new
Yeah.
exploration ship that did not have additional functionality, I'd be okay with them charging ARX for that.
Okay, so you're saying you're saying the new Caspian is or is not pay to win because it can reach stars
No,
and people can put their names on it.
I wasn't even referring to the Caspian. I was referring to
Okay.
hypothetical.
He was trying to find
That's
a
what I
case
thought
that
then.
wouldn't be
but did
controversial.
not have additional functionality.
Yeah.
The Caspian, I guarantee, like my entire prediction on what's going to happen is based off of that ship doing something other ships can't do. So it is definitely going to be pay to win, and that's how they're going to sell a whole bunch of them for the first 6 weeks that it's out, is because it's going to be the only ship that can do this new thing. So yes, that is absolutely 100% without a doubt pay to win. So's the Type
Okay.
11. Type 11. It can mine way faster
Right.
than any other ship in the game. That is pay to win. The Panther Clipper, being able to transfer cargo. All these ships were able to do things that other ships and gave a definitive.
I think.
But they're
competitive
temporarily
advantage.
pay to win, so you're paid to go to pay
So
to
is-
get it sooner.
So's the technically. So is the Dodec. You wait
No,
2.5
it's not.
years saving your ARX, you can buy one. It costs you nothing. So
Oh,
technically, it is. It
because
is.
you can.
You can eventually buy it.
Chig found a way to get it for free.
Yeah.
Look, it's not
Alright.
about
400 a
it's not
week.
about the win condition. I think it would be more accurate to say if it can make someone else jealous and then they feel bad, then they're going to have
Oh.
a case for pay to win.
But that's
Oh,
a
there
That's
we
what's
go.
driving the feelings, right?
That's a paint
people,
job.
But
In
I
that
don't
case, yeah, there are some paint jobs that I think are definitely making other people jealous when I show them to people. That's my headcanon.
Yeah. Well, look, there's paint jobs that only came out in Kickstarter. There's paint jobs that have been not
Right.
brought back. There's all kinds of things like that.
Isn't there a paint
Yep.
job for the Type 9 that like exactly one person has?
Is there?
Yeah.
The
Didn't
cow
they make one for
yeah.
Psycho Cow? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But I'm
I'm
sure people
jealous.
are really pissed at me right now for me just kind of making light of it. But
All right, this is-
honestly, it's a game.
Yeah. All right. I think
So you're gonna get one?
I think we covered it. A
Am I gonna
Dodec
get-
or a Caspian?
A Dodec.
I,
wouldn't have
no,
anything to do
Don't
with it.
think so.
yeah,
Exactly.
I don't have
No
any
chance.
systems.
Yep.
I'm gonna have
I
to
built
buy-
my one system, but I there's no chance I'm spending 38. I'm a day late and $38 short. I'm telling you, it's not
Well,
happening.
I'm going to have to buy 2.
Yeah, of course you are. And then you're gonna beg in Discord for people to help you build more of them. You sick fuck.
As soon as you buy 2, we're gonna start saying you're flexing.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. People are gonna complain no matter what. They can't satisfy everybody, but they can definitely piss off a vast majority if they want to. So
Yeah, and they can definitely
Okay.
monetize the people they don't piss off. So
Right. Well, let's. Any reason we shouldn't cut this recording off right now, unceremoniously?
Well, I think stopping it now would be a good quality of life improvement. Yeah.
Okay. Quick
Or is it a
reminder
bug
that we're
fix?
doing Thargoid battles out here in the California Nebula on Friday. That's 2 days. Well, it'll be 1 day from when this comes out. That is on the 7th.
Benevin, mention it to the angels. I know you're listening.
Yeah, come on out. We're doing conflict zones so everybody can participate. It's going to be great. And that's all.
I'll
Right,
move the
thanks.
squad carrier out there. I'll put something in the Discord saying when it's going to depart, and it only cost you a couple of arts to get on. Just we'll make arrangements.
The toll.
The Troll Toll. That's the name of my Mark V that's gonna be hunting bugs Friday night.
Troll toll.
Okay, guys. Thank you to Chig and Roy and Oblivious for joining me. I'm still Jiminy Tricks for some reason, and I guess we'll see you on the 11th. This update better be good.
Nah.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
bye.
Bye, everybody.